Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love, guys. Now, a quick warning before we do get into this story. There is physical assault within the story, so if you do want to skip it, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. This one's from Silver Salt 7600, and it says, my wife asked for an open marriage. She's angry at my reaction. I need advice. We've been married 5 years. No kids, both 30, both professionals. Was happy. I thought she was too. Things have been tense between us lately and I'm not sure why. Then she sits me down for a talk this past Tuesday. I thought she was finally going to tell me what was bothering her. Instead, she gave me a "we're still young and we can try new things" speech, then asked for an open marriage. I was not prepared for that and was just stunned. I couldn't come up with anything to say. I was just shocked at the request. I think she was encouraged and kept selling it to me. By the time she paused for a response, I had gotten my head together. I was pissed but kept completely calm and told her in no uncertain terms I was not okay with this. We went back and forth for a little bit, and the conversation began getting angry, so we both agreed to put it on the shelf for later when we were calm. You could reach out and touch the bad energy in the house after that. We spoke again last night, and it didn't go well. She was really selling it hard, talked down my objections, called me jealous and controlling, and a bunch of other things I probably shouldn't repeat. It really blew up when I finally agreed to it, but did it in a very nasty way. She took the win though and said it will make our marriage stronger. I told her no, this ends with us divorced. She was instantly angry again and asked why I would say that. I told her this goes one of two ways. She will hook up with other men and I'll hate her for it. And even if that doesn't happen, I'll start dating and meet a woman that wants to have a monogamous relationship with me and I'll leave you for her, 100%. She completely lost it at that point. Threw a glass at me, cursed me out so loud that the neighbors came out to see what was going on. I told her if she gets this angry because I'm not okay with my wife fucking other men, maybe we should just skip all the bullshit and separate right now. That's where this is going anyway. I was furious at this point. I grabbed my phone, car key, and left. She was still screaming at me as I drove away. So now I'm at the Holiday Inn. I went to the liquor store next door and bought a bottle of Knob Creek and was halfway the night drinking it by the pool on ice from a styrofoam cup. Then walked up to the room and passed out. I woke up an hour ago and have been sitting in the room thinking over my whole fucking life and where it went wrong. She has called more than 20 times, but I have nothing to say to her right now. And even if we did talk, where do we even begin to fix this? Can this be fixed? Is going back to talk to her even a good idea? I don't even see what good can come of it. Maybe it really is time to be talking to lawyers. We've always gotten along so well. I'm at a loss on what to do next. I don't want a divorce, but she's asking for something I can't give. Any advice is appreciated. One of the top commenters said to this one, you say you've gotten along so well in the past, but you're also very blasé about her throwing shit at you, it seems to me. Have you really? Is this the first time she's gotten abusive with you? A glass to the face could seriously hurt you. Is this the first time she's screamed insults at you? If yes, then maybe this is a sign of a mental health crisis and maybe with professional help it could get better. But if, as I suspect, she's displayed these behaviors before, if then, you should leave her. Opie responds and says no, nothing like this. She has a bad temper but has never done anything physical. Commenter says an open marriage needs 2 enthusiastic yeses. I agree with other people. She met someone she wants to fuck or is already fucking them. If it isn't that, she would have come to you at least once with the specific things she feels like she's missing, like I want you to go down on me more. If she asked repeatedly and you never did, I guess I could see asking to open without a person in mind, but just feeling unfulfilled. But you didn't suggest it was anything like this. Opie says, I was thinking along these lines myself. We are, or were I guess, pretty active sexually. 3 to 4 times a week and sometimes all night. There is nothing I wouldn't do for or to her if she wanted it. This just came up out of the blue. A week ago, I thought we were doing great. And Opie answers another commenter and says, just answered one of her calls. She's crying and apologizing. She wants to sit down and talk. I have a splitting headache / hangover and need a shower. Then I'll go see where things stand with her. Opie comes in again and says, I went home and we spoke for a few hours. you guys were right. There is someone else. Someone she works with. She says she hasn't done anything yet but wants to. He's in an open marriage, or so she says. Wonder if his wife knows that. Anyway, even after all that has happened, she still wouldn't let go of it. She said, I will never even know it's happening. She won't let it interfere with our lives. Does she seriously think that will make it okay? She actually said this would make her a better partner. She said she still loves me and wants to be with me. I was just looking at her then wondering who the hell is this person and what happened to my wife. I told her there is a word for that and she has lost her mind if she thought I'd tolerate it. I told her she's chosen him and now we're done. I told her I'd contact her next week to discuss details. I packed up more of my stuff and went back to our hotel. Our finances are mostly separated and the house is a rental, thank God. I froze the joint credit cards and the joint savings. Is there anything else I need to do? I still can't fucking believe this has happened. 8 years together, 5 married, and it's completely destroyed in one day over pure selfishness. I'm going to finish that bottle and hope tomorrow will be better. I doubt it, but at least it won't be worse. A commenter says to OP, tell the guy's wife, he's definitely cheating. OP says probably yeah. Sounds like the kind of bullshit men say to get women in bed. Commenter says you should mess with her a bit. 1. Call the other wife on speakerphone in front of her. Ask her if her marriage is open. Then call her parents and tell them that your marriage is ending and thank them for accepting you into the family. Then tell them that you're sorry your wife chose her affair partner over her husband. Put her in a corner she can't get out of without telling the truth. Then let her know that he chose someone that just wants in her pants and she threw her marriage away for nothing. Check your cell phone records for the number of calls and texts between them. OP says 1. Not getting involved in that whole mess. I don't know who this guy is or who his wife is, and to tell you the truth, I don't care. To hell with them. 2. Yeah, I'm going to call them today. That is a great way to do it, and thanks for the idea. 3. I don't care about controlling any kind of narrative. I don't much care what her friends think. Family either really, but they do deserve an explanation. 4. No fault state. Doesn't matter what she did or why she did it. So her phone records and what she did or didn't do mean nothing. OP also adds, just to answer some questions, I know drowning myself in Kentucky's finest isn't healthy. I don't care. I won't be able to sleep tonight without it. For what it's worth, I thought I was lucky to have her. Now I wished I'd never met her. The conversation today started civil and even pleading on her part. It ended in hostility because of course it did. Something that begins in misery tends to end there. You know, I think I really hate her now. Tuesday morning I kissed her when I got home from work. If you told me where I'd be 4 days later, I wouldn't have believed it. I don't know who the guy is, and to tell you the truth, I don't care. It doesn't change anything. I'm just done. Done with it all. You guys think she will want to come back? No fucking way. If I were her, I'd never be able to look me in the eyes after this. I'm just done. OP adds, woke up around 6:30 this morning. Got violently sick. Spent 5 minutes kneeling before the porcelain throne. Felt like total shit. Took a long hot shower. Still felt sick. Room spinning. And I realized I haven't eaten anything since Friday morning. Walked across the street to Denny's. Had a great breakfast and now working on my second pot of coffee. I feel a little better. Turned my phone back on, obviously because I'm typing this post on it. She texted and left a voicemail. Didn't read, didn't listen, don't care. I'm reading through everyone's advice. I'm so grateful to everyone for the advice and support. And the last thread too. I sent an email to work requesting leave. I can't do my job if I'm distracted or not 100% focused, and I'm just not. I made a list of family law practices to call tomorrow. According to the law offices of Google, and Google, I should be okay. House is rented with only a few months left. We had a joint savings we both contributed to for a down payment on the house. Well, that isn't going to happen. We'll split that, I guess. The rest, who knows? She has her salary, retirement and debt. I have mine, all separate. Someone sent a message and asked if I was worried she might see this. She might. This isn't my real Reddit name, but the details are pretty obvious, so maybe she will. If you know who you are, do see this. I don't give a damn. I don't want to know about you or what you do. I'm done. Enjoy your bright future of reckless promiscuity, and I hope you find it's worth the price you just paid for it. And I called her folks. She's there and has already told them what she wanted them to hear. I knew right away when her mum said this was a misunderstanding and we can work it out. It didn't get any better from there. The upshot is, if she's there, she's not home, so I can go get more of my stuff. Opie then responded to a comment about his wife's mother in the phone conversation. Opie said, "My mum thinks my wife just has a crush on someone that she hasn't done anything about, and I flipped out. Mum thinks my reaction is unreasonable. She'd be right if that were the truth. I told her to ask my wife isn't telling her the truth, and this isn't a rough patch. This is the end. I recorded that conversation yesterday afternoon. I told her, Mum, if she wants to listen to it, I'll send it." Opie also adds in the post, "I wanted to thank everyone for the advice, encouragement, and sometimes the laughs. I was in a really dark place and you all helped me when I needed it. I'm very grateful. Hopefully you will have representation lined up tomorrow. I've narrowed the list to 3 different practices. I hope I can consult with all 3 tomorrow. My wife and her mother want to meet with me this week to talk things over. I told them we'd talk about it. I'm shifting gears and trying to be reasonable. It might make things go smoother. I'll only go if the lawyer agrees. This will be my last update for a while. The shock, anger, and self-pitying time is past. Now it's time to be clear-eyed and to follow the process to whatever end it takes us to. The last 48 hours have been the worst. Thank you all for making it more bearable." Opie on if his mother-in-law knows the full story on the open marriage and his wife's thoughts. Opie says, "Not yet. My goal is to hear them out and maybe come to some agreement on separation. I seriously doubt the open relationship demand was discussed and haven't sent her anything. You know, thinking back on the totality of the conversation, I don't think she meant the marriage would be open for me. What set her off was the notion I'd be dating another woman to replace her, plus other comments. I think she meant for this to be one-sided. Maybe I'm overthinking. I didn't really hear her out. Doesn't matter now anyway. No is still no." And well, in all fairness, she, the wife, never actually said anything like that. She did go on about how her having freedom would benefit me and us. She didn't really try to sell me on the idea of me having freedom. She did get very angry when I said I'd be dating to replace her. Was she mad at the replacing or the dating? She was really mad at the no. Like I said, just a thought I had. It's all a moot point now anyway. Opie adds another update which came 4 days later and says, "Just an update. I'm moving back home today. I have a lawyer. She's drafted in a home separation agreement, basically separating our finances. I met with her and mother-in-law last night and we talked it over. She still insisted nothing happened between her and the other guy. She regrets the open marriage suggestion and is promising full transparency on phone and iPad. She is saying everything someone who is trying to save their marriage should. She promised to find a new job if I want. She seemed sincere. She told mother-in-law the truth, that she asked for the open marriage. I guess she knew I would if she didn't. The mother said she wasn't raised that way. She really seemed sincere, which makes it hard to reconcile with the way she went absolutely batshit crazy last Friday when I refused to agree to the open marriage. I agreed to counseling. The lawyer is still preparing a divorce petition that can be filed at any time. I've made it clear we are not okay. I have 1 foot out the door. If this marriage can be saved, she needs to be the one to do it. I'll meet her in a part of the way, but she'll need to come most of the way. I will never agree to any poly nonsense. Not what I signed up for. I told her plainly if that is what she wants, let's save each other a lot of time and effort and tell my lawyer to file. Am I making a mistake? This doesn't commit me to anything, right? The exit door is still open and the path to it is clear." A commenter says to OP, "You don't go from 0 to 100 like that. Maybe nothing physical has happened, but something definitely has. Have you seen interaction, texts, etc. between them?" OP says no, and that concerns me. She has promised full transparency with electronics, but the soonest that can happen is tonight. It'd be easy to sanitize everything if she hasn't already. I'll never know for sure, and that bothers me a lot. Commenter says, "One more thing. I don't know where you two stand in children, but be careful of her baby trapping you and get a post-nup." OP says the lawyer said a post-nup would be a waste of time for us. No assets to protect other than a joint savings account we both contribute to. We have our own cards and bank accounts and 401ks. Someone says, "How was the wife's reaction when the meeting took place?" OP says she was very apologetic, crying through most of it. She said hurting me was the last thing she wanted. She swore up and down on a stack of Bibles that nothing happened. Only flirting, and then he, the other guy, suggested they go further, and that he was in an open marriage and how happy they were with it and all that. She was enamored with the idea and with him, and here we are. She didn't think I was really leaving her until she came home from her parents' house on Sunday and saw more of my stuff was gone. Then the lawyer contacted her after the retainer was paid and she just lost it. She knew it was for real, or so she says. Her mother is trying to smooth the waters and get you both talking to each other and not yelling at each other. I'm back home. She's at her parents' house. She's coming home in a little while. I'll be recording everything she says, plus separate bedrooms for now. She says she's willing to do anything, full transparency. The commenter says, so she did have an emotional affair at the very least, if she was enamored with him, and her getting so upset that she threw a glass at you. Seems like there may have been more there that she's letting on. I read that there's an open device policy now, that everything will be gone. Is she still going to be working with him? Opie says her finding other employment is one of the 3 conditions to even attempt to save this. We have a counselling session on Friday. I mean to discuss all 3 conditions in detail then. Someone says, what are the other 2 conditions? Complete and total honesty. All details, every message and conversation. If I found out 6 months from now a detail was withheld, I walk. Full access to phones, iPad and laptop. And I kind of agree with a lot of these comments that Opie is probably being trickle-truthed here because the truth has slowly come out. And, with these conditions being added on, it kind of just feels like, what's the point? The trust is not there, it's completely gone. So I don't really see much point to it and kind of just feel like you're delaying the inevitable here. But Opie does come in with one more update and it starts off. This will be the last update on this. I'm done. I'm just completely done. This reconciliation attempt couldn't even make it to the end of day 3. I'm not going to be giving exact details. I'm sure you will all understand reasons. I found out 2 things, both of which she lied straight to my face about as late as last night. I've seen her iPhone and iPad communications. Nothing there to make you think that they have done more flirting, as bad as that is. Nothing since this all blew up last week. They have another way to communicate and I found it out. That led to the second thing I found. She works in an 8 to 5 Monday to Friday office job. I'm a firefighter/EMT and I work 24 to 48 hour rotating shifts. So 3 days a week I'm away from home for 24 hours. I'm sure you guys can take those 2 facts and work the rest out. At this point, believing she was not in a physical relationship with this man would be an act of willful stupidity, which it probably was all along. I cancelled our marriage counselling appointment this afternoon. I called the lawyer and told her to proceed. Soon to be ex-wife, now I can really call her that, will be served next week or the week after. I sent the guy that owns the house a letter of non-renewal for the lease. Then I rented a storage space and moved everything I want to keep into it. Most of it was still boxed from last weekend. Then I went back to the house and waited. When she got home about 2 this afternoon, I confronted her with what I had. Her face turned white. You can imagine how the conversation went. She was emotional, but even then wouldn't tell me the truth. The closest she got was saying along the lines of, if anything has happened, it's over now. I told her I was done. Done with the lies, done with the bullshit. I told her the paperwork will be filed and she'll be served when it's ready. I was expecting more of a famous temper. Maybe she just is done as well. The last bit of conversation, she was in tears. She said she knows she fucked everything up and doesn't even know why she did it. She finally apologized for losing her temper last Friday. She doesn't know why she did that either. She apologized for all of it. Neither of us is happy with this ending, but it can't end any other way when there is no truth and no trust. So back at the Holiday Inn just for tonight. No bourbon this time. I'm miserable, but I knew as much as I wanted to save it, this wasn't going to end any other way. This is just what had to be done. Thanks everyone for all the advice, encouragement and criticism. In the end, you were all pretty much right. The commenter says to OP, did you notify the other man's wife? I doubt it really is an open marriage. That's most likely a lie the guy told your soon-to-be ex-wife. If you have the copies of the other means of communication, share them with her. She deserves to know. OP says no, but once my paperwork is all in process, I'm thinking I'll print everything and add the thumb drive with the audio from the conversations I recorded along with a letter explaining everything and FedEx it to her. Another commenter quotes OP saying they have another way to communicate and I found it out, and then says, I realize you are being intentionally vague here. If in the future you have more liberty to reveal that underground form of communication, you revealing it would help the knowledge base of Redditors. I suggested that she was going to purchase a burner phone to work around the devices she opened up for you to see, and that you check your Wi-Fi router management app. If this is accurate, a simple Y or N would suffice. Thanks. I'm glad your sense of self-respect is healthy. That's not all that common around here. OP says, I found evidence she had a second phone. When checked Wi-Fi usage and saw it on the system at night, and an unknown device on nights I was working last week. It was a bit more complex than that, but that is the gist of it. Commenter says, so he had his device on the Wi-Fi too when you weren't there, and she still wouldn't admit to anything. How long had it been going on? Opie says that's kind of an oversimplified explanation. I left a lot of detail out because some of it might make an issue in the divorce. Probably not, but not taking a chance. Let's just say something happened that made me think there might be a second device. There was. Someone in the comments suggested checking Wi-Fi, and I did, but I already knew there was another device somewhere. Commenter says checking Wi-Fi was a good idea. Does it appear everything started around the time of the original conversation, or do you think it had been going on for a while before she hit you up with the open marriage request? Opie says I think it started the day before it first came up. A Tuesday 2 weeks back. Don't know for sure. It could have been going on a long time, but I doubt it. Commenter says, did you let her mother know what you found? Opie says yeah. I sent her an email explaining everything in detail. I asked her to check on soon-to-be ex. She wasn't in a good frame of mind when I left yesterday. Opie also adds, just woke up. I asked her not to call or text me. Of course, she did several times last night. I kept the phone on silent, but today I think I'm turning it off altogether. It's weird, but I feel a little better today. Lighter maybe. Now the decisions are all made, it's like putting down a heavy load you are carrying. I'm going to go for a run, get some chow at Denny's for the last time. I've eaten more Denny's food the last week than all the years of my life combined. After all that, I'm getting out of town for a few days. Maybe drive up to see my brother and his family. He knows what's been happening and said I needed to come up and go fishing with him and my nephew. I think he's right. Then Opie adds one more time, still at my brother's house. She was at the engine house today looking for me. I guess if she was the sort to take a hint or take no for an answer, none of us would be here reading about it. Damn, good shout on looking on the Wi-Fi in the end, but what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Our next story came from the subreddit Daddit from Helsinki Torpedo, who says, I could use some support, dads. I don't think I count as one anymore, but I don't want to lose my relationship with my kid. Hey dads, a month ago my wife and I separated. It was for a litany of issues from both of us. She also decided to give up custody of her daughter, my stepdaughter, but I just see her as my daughter to her ex. We're in the middle of a nasty custody case with her ex, who would routinely tell my daughter how horrible her mum was, how my wife would steal her money, how she was a liar, etc. She also had to involve the cops to get our daughter back from a holiday at their place, and that was when they had zero custody. I'm deeply concerned that I won't have a relationship with my daughter at all anymore. I raised this girl from 14 months old until she was nearly 11. We've got Stars, a kids messaging app. I'll reach out to her there. Sometimes she replies. I've seen her twice since the separation. Each time she's expressed concern about not being able to see my family ever again. I've told her that won't be the case, but I'm not confident it's true. She'll see them this Sunday, but with the manipulation that her dad has done already, I'm afraid she'll get to a point where she doesn't want to see me, and that they won't allow my wife extra time for her to see my family. I'm not just losing my wife, but also my daughter. We weren't legally married, so I don't have any legal right to see her. The best I can hope is that she'll reach out to me once she's older and try to re-establish a relationship. This shit just hurts so fucking bad, dads. A commenter says, I'm sorry, fellow dad. It sounds like your wife's ex has brainwashed your daughter. I'm very, very sorry. I can only imagine how devastated I would feel in your shoes. If it's any consolation, children often grow to recognize who did them wrong and who did them right in their lives as they age. It wasn't until my 20s that I saw through a pattern of lies from my mum and realized my dad actually never abandoned me. Some people don't have and won't ever possess that level of reflection, but I have a feeling your daughter will come around when she gets older. You seem like a good dad, and the appreciation people have for their parents tends to increase as they get older. Opie says, I'm hoping she grows to realize what I tried to do for her and who I am. I'm not the best at it, and I made my mistakes. I did my best as her dad. I just don't know if I'll even be a dad after this. I just miss being a dad. A commenter says, I can't imagine the pain and frustration you're experiencing. Depending on your state/country of residence, you may have potential avenues for getting visitation rights. It probably wouldn't be easy and definitely would require legal counsel. Opie says, I'm in Indiana and I'm pretty broke. Commenter replies saying, I feel you, man. So sorry you're going through this. I'd maintain whatever bond you're able to for now and just accept this is out of your control. Hopefully someday she can come back into your life in a more regular way. Whatever happens, those times you had with her as a child will not go away. You remember them, and so will she. You'll always be a part of the person she becomes. Opie says she was my fishing buddy. She didn't even enjoy fishing, she just enjoyed fishing together. I miss her so much. Commenter says, your daughter wants to see you. Your daughter actually needs to see you. She's going through the most turbulent time of her life squared. A, adolescence sucks in any case, even in an intact family with top-notch parents. B, her biodad is viciously throwing emotional knives. Some of them are cutting her. C, even if you and her mum separated as smoothly as cream and skim milk, in her head, her own safe world is exploding. She has no idea what the future will bring. She has asked her friends whose parents are divorced what it's like. Some of them have told her true horror stories, from neglect to violence. She is wondering when those horrible things are going to start happening to her. D, you didn't separate that smoothly. She felt every sarcastic remark, every argument, every tear, every stone-walled silence. She probably even thought some or all of it was her fault. Maybe psycho dad told her it was her fault. Maybe she thinks this whole messy problem would go away if she offed herself. Speaking of how I thought at that age when my parents divorced and there was no psycho ex. She definitely needs you to correct misimpressions at the very least. Yes, you do love her. Yes, she is worthy of your love. No, her being gone would not solve any problems and would make everything worse, in fact. Yes, you in particular do care. Do you want to know when she gets good grades or gets into the school play or doesn't? She needs you. Get whatever resources you need to make that happen. Opie says I'm going to be there for as best as I can. Her mum and I were never legally married, so it's going to be an uphill battle. One more commenter says, start setting the groundwork for reconnecting when she's 18. There are forms of meaningful communication that do not require physical contact. Use them. And Opie says, I have been. So it was 4.5 months later, Opie came back in with their update. First, they gave a brief summary, which we won't cover because we just read that, but then says, now onto the update. Since I've made that post, I've gotten to see my daughter a couple of times, and we video call regularly and play Fortnite online. My family has had a couple of our holiday get-togethers, so she's still getting to see her aunts and uncles and grandparents on my side. I hadn't communicated much with her bio dad and her stepmom, other than to arrange a time to see her. The first time I did this, I went through her stepmom, but her mum, my ex, is the one that I ended up meeting to get my kid. This kind of threw me for a loop. I figured if my ex had our daughter, then she'd just communicate directly with me, but no. She's ignored all communication from my side that isn't from me directly, and even that her replies were spotty at best. It was weird to me that the antagonistic biodad and stepmom were facilitating my relationship with my kid more than my ex was. Hell, even my mum calls stepmom to arrange things with my kid. Still, I hadn't had a real conversation with her biodad and stepmom until recently. My birthday was earlier this month, and my mum had arranged with my daughter's stepmom for my daughter to spend the day with me and my parents. We still picked her up from my ex, who just refuses to communicate still. We got sushi, went fishing, and walked around a park. My kid and I talked a lot. At the end of the day, we took her back to her biodad's house. Her dad, who had been an enemy for most of the last year, smiled at me and wished me a happy birthday when he opened the door. I had some things I wanted to discuss with her stepmom regarding a gift I'd given my daughter for Christmas in 24 that I naively left at my ex's house for her to safekeep until my daughter was old enough. So we stepped aside to speak privately. We won't discuss negative things about my kid's parents around her. That's been the long policy, at least for my ex and I. The conversation that followed was incredibly revealing. I won't go into all the nitty-gritty details, but the TLDR is that my ex has been lying to them about me being some sort of monster, that I was always the problem and just a giant piece of shit. My ex also claimed that she paid for the custody case. She didn't even have a job when it started. I footed that bill and admitted to them that she cheated on me, and I found out, which is why we're no contact now. And stepmom told me that my ex takes the bare minimum time with my daughter, and sometimes not even that. Stepmom also told me that my daughter is always super excited to see me and my family, talking about it almost non-stop in the days leading up to it, and that my daughter was in tears, nearly inconsolable in the days after the original breakup because she was afraid of never seeing me or my family again. Stepmom has made it her goal to keep my daughter and I's relationship intact, which I'm obviously fully on board with. I'm seeing a new side of stepmom and biodad. They're making sure my daughter has extra time to call me. They bend bedtime rules sometimes so we can keep talking or play another round of Fortnite, and we're already making plans for me to see her again soon. Oh, and I also want to point out that stepmom and I have the same birthday. She gave up her birthday with my daughter so that I could have her. I have no fear about my relationship with my kid anymore, and I'm starting to realize that her other parents aren't anything like how my ex presented them to me. I'm actually getting to know them now, and they're my greatest allies in keeping me in my daughter's life. No one really needed an update, but I wanted to share this win. Thanks, Dadit. Commodore says, I'm so happy for you, my man. That's great news. She needs good men in her life like you. Great job, Pops. Opie says, thank you. She told me one weekend that it was supposed to be her mum's weekend, but that she was busy with her friends. I make it a point to answer every call from her if I'm able. I even took a call from her in the middle of a date. Lol. She needs to know that I'll always be there for her, even if her mum won't. Commodore says, so all the negative thoughts you had about her biodad and partner were how they perceived you as well. Great news, and it sounds like she's in a great place with people that love her and want what's best for her. Opie says, absolutely. She was just lying to me and to them. Biodad is starting to see a new side of me, and I'm seeing a new side of him. We all want what's best for my daughter. Commodore says, stepmom is amazing for letting her hang out with you on your shared birthday. It sounds like you're in a much better place moving forward. Opie says, absolutely, and I can't be grateful enough for what stepmom gave me. I've had bad days and better days since the breakup. No good days until my birthday weekend, and my birthday itself was a great day. A downvoted commenter says, I find this post odd. She isn't your kid. You have no custody rights at all. You never adopted or anything. Opie says, I've raised this girl since she was 14 months old, and I put my blood, sweat, and tears into raising her. Legally adopted or not, she's my kid and she always will be. I understand I don't have custody rights, but that doesn't matter. She's my child. I've been there for her through all the ups and downs of the last 10 years, and I'm going to be there for all the ups and downs of the years to come. You don't get to tell me that she isn't my kid. Commodore says, I see a shared birthday party next year. Oh, please make it so. Opie says, I definitely think that's a possibility, and I've already invited her dad and other mum. She doesn't like Step, I found out yesterday, over some time with the kids for a cookout. Oh, that one got the onion ninjas around. I am absolutely in bits. And that young girl gets 3 parents who absolutely love her to bits and wants what's best for her, which is a wonderful thing. I think that's where we're going to finish the video. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, I can't express how amazing it is. So thank you. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.